There's something thrilling about the moment your entire world flips upside down. When your blood burns with power you didn't know you had. When shadows that once whispered now scream. When you go from being invisible to hunted. Warrior Fae by K.F. Breene doesn't ease you into that world. It throws you headfirst into a storm of danger, secrets, and untamed magic. From the first page, the story grabs you by the collar and drags you deep into a gritty urban fantasy filled with raw power, deadly predators, and a heroine who rises from the ashes of her old life like a storm no one saw coming. The book opens with a sense of desperation. The main character, a young woman named Charity, is scraping by on the edge of society. She's independent, fierce, but running from something, her past, her pain, her potential. Her life has been one of struggle, anonymity, and survival. She never planned to be anyone's savior. She never asked for power or purpose. But the universe has other ideas. One night, after a series of strange encounters and inexplicable sensations, she starts to change. Something ancient and wild awakens inside her. And when her transformation fully hits, there's no turning back. She becomes Fae, but not just any Fae. She's a warrior, something rare, something feared. Charity's transition into the supernatural world is as chaotic as it is violent. Her body begins to change, her senses sharpen, her instincts take over. Her strength grows, and so does her fury. But this awakening doesn't go unnoticed. Her emergence triggers a wave of interest from beings who don't exactly have warm welcomes planned. Shifters, vampires, mages, and other Fae descend like predators catching the scent of a threat. Charity is now on the radar, and some of those watching want her dead. Others want to use her. All of them fear what she might become. But Charity isn't the kind of woman to sit back and be hunted. She pushes back. She fights. She adapts. And what makes her truly magnetic is not just her power, but her defiance. She doesn't trust easily, doesn't bow to anyone, and refuses to play by the rules of the supernatural elite. This is not your average chosen one story. Charity's journey is brutal and unpolished. She's not trying to be a hero. She's just trying to survive and maybe, along the way, figure out who she really is underneath the fire and scars. As she navigates this new world, she encounters a tight-knit pack of shifters known as the O'Briens. They're powerful, territorial, and skeptical of outsiders, especially her. But despite their initial distrust, there's something about Charity that speaks to the pack's leader and enforcer. They see her not as a threat, but as a potential ally. The chemistry between Charity and one particular enforcer, Devon, is electric. It simmers with unspoken promises and dangerous intensity. He's a predator with secrets of his own. And as much as he tries to keep his distance, the pull between them becomes harder to resist. Their dynamic is filled with tension, mutual respect, and the kind of slow-burning fire that makes you hold your breath. But this isn't a romance wrapped in fantasy. This is war cloaked in shadows and betrayal. Charity soon learns that being a warrior Fae comes with more than just new abilities. It comes with ancient responsibilities, a calling. She's drawn into a conflict far bigger than she imagined, one that threatens the balance between light and dark. The supernatural world is on the brink of upheaval. Power is shifting, factions are aligning, and monsters are stepping into the light. Charity, with her growing strength and unbreakable will, may be the tipping point, but only if she survives long enough to understand what she's become. Training with the pack tests her limits, both physical and emotional. She's never been part of a team, never relied on anyone. But the O'Briens challenge her in ways she never expected. They force her to confront not just enemies, but herself. Her fears, her past, her rage. She begins to unlock the deeper levels of her power, abilities, tied to the very roots of the Fae and the warriors who came before her. Her body is a weapon, yes, but so is her heart, her loyalty, and her pain. And it's this complexity that makes her journey so compelling. Through battle and blood, Charity starts to form bonds. Unlikely friendships, fragile alliances. But trust is a dangerous thing in this world. Betrayal lurks behind smiles. Danger hides in the most unexpected places. The enemy isn't just out there. It might be closer than she thinks. And when the truth starts to unravel about her past, her bloodline, and the true nature of the war she's been pulled into, everything changes. She isn't just a piece on the board. She might be the queen, or the weapon that destroys the game entirely. What elevates Warrior Fae beyond the typical urban fantasy is its raw emotional depth. Charity's pain is tangible. Her anger is justified. She's not perfect, and she doesn't try to be. She's broken in places, fierce in others, but always authentic. Her sarcasm and grit become shields she uses to keep the world from tearing her apart. But as the story unfolds, we see the vulnerability behind the strength, the fear behind the fight, and in those moments, the character becomes unforgettable. The pacing of the novel is relentless. Just as Charity catches her breath, another enemy appears. Another secret is revealed. Another fight begins, and each battle carves her further into the warrior she was meant to be. There are no easy victories. Every inch of power she gains is earned with blood and fire. The action scenes are brutal and cinematic. You can feel the punches, hear the growls, taste the adrenaline. But the quiet moments hit just as hard. The moments of connection, loss, doubt, and hope. They ground the story in something real. As the climax nears, the stakes explode. The supernatural factions begin to move with deadly intent. Old enemies rise. New alliances form. Charity stands at the center of it all. No longer just a girl trying to survive, but a force to be reckoned with. She's not just reacting anymore. She's making moves, drawing lines, claiming space. And when she finally steps fully into her power, it's nothing short of breathtaking. She doesn't just become the warrior Fae, she redefines what that means. By the final chapters, the world around Charity is forever changed. So is she. She has lost things she can never get back. But she's gained something far more dangerous. Clarity, purpose. She understands now that she's part of a legacy, a bloodline of warriors forged in the darkest fires, and she's ready to burn everything that stands in her way. Not for glory, not for vengeance, but because the world needs someone who won't back down, someone who knows pain, but chooses power anyway. Warrior Fae is more than a fantasy, it's a battle cry. A story for anyone who's been underestimated, broken, or pushed aside. It's about taking that pain and turning it into strength. About fighting not because you have to, but because you choose to. It's about rising again and again, no matter how many times you're knocked down. Charity is not a princess waiting to be rescued. She's the storm that tears the castle apart. Listeners looking for something fierce, gritty, and deeply emotional will find themselves spellbound. The audiobook brings this story to life in all its brutal glory, with every growl, whisper, and scream echoing through the darkness. You'll feel every heartbeat, every battle cry, every devastating truth. And when it's over, you won't want to walk away. Because Warrior Fae doesn't just tell a story, it ignites something inside you. A hunger for more, a spark of power, a call to war.